Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, HubSpot Nation, LinkedIn friends, here with a special unboxing episode with my buddy James from Portant. How you doing, man?
Hey Chris, yeah, good. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for staying up late for us today down in Australia. Um,
It's not even 10 p.m. yet, so it's
Not
early.
even
The
10
night, the
p.m.
night is young.
All right, my wife would be in bed like for 2.5 hours already. So,
Oh yeah, my
um,
wife's in bed. Gonna keep my voice down.
yeah. Do what we can to serve global audience and global partners here. And I've been excited to chat with you for a while. We met at Inbound last year, talking about document creation. Um, Always has been a interesting spot for me coming from industrial manufacturing. Like, makes it hard to adopt systems like HubSpot when they can't. There's no PDF button, print screens doesn't work well. They just can't do the things that they're always used to doing, and sometimes it's required of them as they do business with the industries that they serve. So it really can dampen the value of HubSpot pretty quickly in terms of just, even a team that wants to use it just can't because they've got to do so much outside of the system to support it. When did you guys, start this journey of document generation out of HubSpot?
It's been just a little bit over 2 years now. We launched in the HubSpot marketplace February 2023. So had our 2-year birthday, and yeah, loving it. I think it's been great. We landed quite a large client, like within a month of launching on the ecosystem, and that was a fortuitous or lucky moment, but it meant that just we doubled down quite quickly, and then we kept on getting feedback that this was a required area that the ecosystem needed, and yeah, just been working on the feedback and building on top of it.
Was there anything specific that happened inside of HubSpot that's like, okay, maybe we've been thinking about it for a while and now it's possible?
Um, I think that there's been a few big ones. The app cards, I mean, CRM card was great initially. Like that was a nice thing to build on top of, to build an embedded experience. And then going from that to have the app card, to have a better version of that. And then now with the app objects, it it seems like every year there's something which allows committed app partners to go deeper into HubSpot. And I think you see that. I think you see that through the ecosystem about the people who are committed. It shows in the applications which they are building. Like our friends at Arrows are building a fantastic embedded experience. And there's a small group who are wanting to go deep with this stuff, not just have surface level data ingesters.
Right. Oh man, that was my first, introduction to apps in HubSpot. And you get so excited because you get this data, coming in, and then you realize you
Mhm.
can't do anything else with it except for see it on a CRM
Yeah.
record. It gets pretty disappointing really quickly. So we always talk about the value of building for HubSpot. Have you always been in the HubSpot ecosystem, or what kind of led to the building for HubSpot
It
decision?
was so we had our first one was all within the Google Workspace ecosystem. We had people who are using like a Google Sheet as a CRM or a Google Form as an instant report notification system, and we were generating documents for them. Did a lot with schools, but it was all within Google Workspace. And with that app, we had an area where you could connect to a Google form or a Google Sheet, and then it had a bunch of other icons underneath it, which were what they call in UX the fake door test. there wasn't actually anything behind them. And one of those was HubSpot. And so you'd click on the HubSpot icon, and then it would say, "Oh, we're still working on this. Enter your email, and we'll get back to you as soon as it goes live."
Okay.
And HubSpot kept on coming up in that, and we thought that it was worth a little experiment by building that integration based on those users' feedback. And we had a select little group who we could go into and test with. So before that point, we had experimented with Zero. We thought that that was an interesting place to go. Their ecosystem just isn't open. You've got to do things like it's just not as good as HubSpot. I won't go into the details,
Yeah.
but yeah, we were just experimenting with different sections of like essentially it was apps which were served as a source of truth for an organization in some way. I mean, we could have quite easily have gone down the ERP route as well, but
Yeah.
HubSpot was the one, and we it seemed like a really good opportunity. We just kept on doubling down into it.
Yeah. I don't know how easy it would have been going the ERP route, but I'm sure there's opportunity there.
Maybe it was
Um,
like it was always going to end up in HubSpot. It was just we might have. It just depended how many doors we had to walk through before we found the HubSpot door.
yeah. All right, with that, like mentioning that, I imagine like in the more complex or the more, let's say, evolved ecosystems when it comes to full platform, um, are you often having to, work with HubSpot, plus ERP or HubSpot plus, accounting systems when you're helping people, get value out of Portland?
We try not to. We do get asked that a lot. It's one of our big use cases is quotes or invoices, those kind of documents, and users frequently ask, "Can we just put this straight into QuickBooks or Zero?" Um, but we try to push back on that and say, "Why don't we just push it back into HubSpot, and then you pick another way to get that data from HubSpot back into your accounting system of choice?" And I think
Yeah.
that our reason behind that is that you could quickly just turn into another Zapier
Right.
if you started integrating with all the accounting systems, and then it would be like that's just the thin end of the wedge. There'd
Yeah.
be a whole bunch of stuff, and then how do you choose?
Yeah. Almost like an iPass. Uh,
Yeah,
like,
totally. And then like I don't know, you kind of there's there's loads of companies in that space, and how do you get any cut through in that market? I don't know. I'm not good enough at marketing to get cut through in a crowded market like that.
yeah, and this might be the worst time to jump into that category.
Yeah.
Personally, I think um, it's could be one of the first categories to go in terms of what AI is helping us do now. We just saw
Mhm.
Dharmesh post about MCP, and as soon as I saw
Yep.
Agent AI, it's like, okay, we can use this to transform data now. I started asking friends, like, how far away is
Mhm.
this from just like iPass, like as agents, right?
Yeah.
And so I like, uh, as we dive in, and I know like there's a simplicity to your approach, and I think that's super important because almost any kind of tool or app or whatever that solves for just the complexity of systems working together, if it if it's kind of unnecessary complexity, which most of the reason for iPass that I've seen is like because systems just don't talk to each other well, right?
Mhm.
Like those are the places ripe for AI, disruption because it can just cut through a lot of
Yeah,
that
too much
stuff.
complexity.
How have you guys, before we dive in, but how have you guys, or what are your like stance, your take, however you want to slice it, like when it comes to AI and how fast we're going here?
I think that there are we kind of look at it. It's hard not to look at it through the document lens of different types of document. And in this way, I look at a proposal document as being ripe for AI because it can be fluid and can be creative. And then you get to the more contracting side or invoice side, which needs to be rigid. And I think that spectrum, the AI isn't as good as that, the things which need to be 100% bulletproof. And to be honest, things like that are already solved for. You don't need AI to build an invoice today, and you want it to be very rule based. Whereas the proposals, like having AI generate something which is more creative, I think there's some great opportunity there. We have some cool stuff which I can't quite share yet, but some quite cool stuff that's we're working on hard in that proposal area.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Pretty hard to stay away, I would imagine, just because it's amazing that we've come this far, like 25, 30 years into SaaS, and quote to cash, like has not been, quote unquote, figured out like
Yeah,
better than what we've had. So it's been interesting to talk to, the Commerce Hub team to see where they're going, all the CPQ stuff popping up.
yeah.
Um, but what's interesting is like that most of the gap is in the education of like, product management at the organizational level. Like,
Mhm.
doesn't matter how good of a tool you have if you don't know like great ways to set up your process and support your team who needs to be using rules to automate stuff. Like the rules got to make sense. and when you've been doing this outside of the system, and the sales team and the customer teams are just kind of winging it because it's a flexible way to serve customers, like
Mhm.
that doesn't translate well when we try to like put rules in a system.
Yeah. And there are just so many ways to that quote to cash process can work in every different organization. And if you start a business from day one and you use HubSpot from day one, like all their tools currently will probably see you through. But it's the complexity that humans have caused in the years of operations that seem assumably immovable, you know, big bits of granite in their process that
Yeah.
are the things that you need to, those are the parts of the process you need to adapt to, and caused by humans,
Yeah.
immovable because of humans have defined them to be immovable.
Right. That's a good way to put it. Well, we'll go ahead and dive in from scratch here. I haven't done any kind of setup or anything with
No,
Portant. Um, I wonder, sometimes you can get to stuff over here if I can spell. There it is, right in the main search. I don't even have to go to the marketplace anymore.
you just told me
Um,
something. That's cool.
they've been that's what we do here. They've been putting, doing the updates every day. They've been putting like there's product updates listings for the app marketplace and the stuff that they're doing to make it easier to onboard people and
Mhm.
continue to build uh, for the HubSpot experience right from kind of where I just did, like right from inside the tool. Um, so we get here uh, and we click install, and no credit card required. That's appreciated. Sign up with Google. Connect. Make demo account. Choose account. All the scope here.
Just a few scopes.
Yeah.
Just give me all your most trusted information.
Take it as long as I can
Yeah.
generate some PDFs. All right. Connect. Drive to Portant. Can you tell me about the name Portant?
It's important without the I'm.
Makes sense.
That's yeah, that's it. It's we thought it was an okay name, and we just moved on as quickly as possible to building the product.
Yeah. All right. What would you like to create? Let's do proposals. Um,
Oh,
or maybe, uh, yeah, let's go there. Creating workflow from template. Create the template documents in your Google Drive. That's the kind of stuff. Anything like as soon as Claude added the layer of Google integration, anytime things start to automatically just populate Google Drive, like I
mhm.
start to get excited.
Yeah, that was
Um,
a cool update. They just it was just like a few weeks ago, right?
yep. And then we see HubSpot with MCP today. I
Hmm.
hope it's on our product update list. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to hunt for it on the show in a little bit. But uh, so we've got a little bit of a workflow builder here.
Yeah.
Um, a copy of
Do
HubSpot
you want me
sales.
to? I'm just happy just letting you just run. I don't want to jump in.
Yeah, I'll find my way around here. We'll do true unboxing. Um, congrats on being named an essential
Oh,
app.
thank you.
Let's click in here and see what we got. Um, so external data source, HubSpot opportunities. What's that? So I've renamed deals in this portal, and that's what it's picking up. Yes,
Yeah, that's cool.
is that correct? Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I could just double check to remember. And here we go. Opportunities.
Hmm.
Um, and let's see, where here I think is where all the stuff is. And I think this is a little bit of a UI change. Anyways,
Yeah, small.
uh, that's why we unbox HubSpot as we go too, usually. uh,
I hadn't seen that
um,
before.
okay, so I've clicked in. I can see um, all my deals as an external data source. Um, and this is, I don't have a ton of experience with Zapier either. So kind of getting comfortable. Um, got some company info here. We've got deal amount, line item, uh, account, which is what I've renamed companies to in this
Yeah,
portal. Um, interesting to see in HubSpot right now all the places that, okay, apparently I just haven't renamed this to humans yet, like I have in other portals. Um,
that's great.
this is what happens when you build for HubSpot, though, right? Like HubSpot makes changes and it doesn't wreck your app.
Yeah,
Because literally, I imagine there's a world, especially in the iPaaS space, where these plug and play like apps and integrations are like hard coded for the word deal and contact and company, and then what happens when somebody renames it?
hmm.
Um,
We just did a
usually,
huge rebuild on how data is extracted from HubSpot. It was 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago we went live with it. So I don't
was
want to
that?
ruin your unboxing, but there's things to find. There's things to find on this page.
Yeah. Um, and I'm a little bit uh, over my skis here, so I would like
Okay.
your just this so
Okay.
that we can put this on display properly.
For sure.
If
So
you can take
on
me
the
through.
On the right-hand side, there's opportunities above that source table, we call it, of all the properties within HubSpot. And you can click change on that. So you don't have to have it on opportunities. It could be anything within HubSpot. So any custom object, any object from the object library, and that is your primary object. What How to think of that is the same way you think of HubSpot automations or HubSpot workflows. You need to choose the object you're running it from. I should upgrade you.
That's okay.
Custom
We'll just
objects
use.
is a pro feature, but all the other ones they come out of
Yep.
the box. So
So let's test that real quick.
you've got lots of options here. And then in the right-hand side, obviously, HubSpot's got hundreds of properties. So we just select a sub-selection. And if you want to add more, there's a blue link at the bottom, or you can click the gear icon and you can select and manage HubSpot properties. So if you click into that, you can then choose anything which is connected. And then that has
Wow.
secondary objects in here where you're talking about communications, calls, meetings, anything which is, we would say it's like a layer below one of the primary objects, then you've got access to all of this.
Okay.
So yeah,
Let's go back to some
it,
safety
it
here.
it's as detailed as
Oops.
you want it to be. And if you exit out of this and click on the workflow again, or yeah, go to deals. If you go back to the workflow in the top, like a layer behind this, yeah, and click on the Google Slides, maybe this is more what you were thinking you were going to see.
Yeah. Well, it's good to know that the source. A lot of times, like you come into here first. I know one of my first experiences with building proposals was from Quiller, and had to build. I mean, that was back in like 2018, so I had to build all these properties everywhere that were syncing because I could only look at stuff from the deal. So I had to bring like all the contact and company information like native to the deal. It worked, but it was an effort. And then
Mhm.
3 years later, you look back and like, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. We should probably clean all that up.
Yeah,
Um, so we've got our starter template here. Um, yeah, and this is where everybody's got one of these. Um, as far as like a PDF format or some Word doc that they use,
yeah.
that adds like an amazing amount of time into the quoting process from my experience. Um, and just well, hello to William here.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Hey,
stopping
William.
by. Looks like he's planning on fully systematizing his contract management, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
he's been great.
Uh, so and this is coming from Google, so we could, click on this. And so this did not exist in my Google Drive prior to me
No,
starting up Portant. Um, and of course, every day I'm prompted to try some kind of new AI tool.
of course.
We'll refrain from that for now. But here's where I'm probably doing more comfortable level, like editing of the template, and then any editing I do here. Um,
And I think this
we-
is the bit which is great for us and our customers is that because you have Google Slides or Google Docs, the formatting is unlimited. Um, and I think that, building one of these tools um, takes a lot of work. And if you're a different document automation company, you have to build all that yourself. Whereas linking into what's pre-existing is pretty handy. haven't seen those before.
Yeah, I I don't do a ton of work in Google
Mhm.
Native, so I'm just like, let's see if we could just um, uh, unboxing. I like playing with giving it a minimal amount of time of context.
Mhm.
Uh, and we'll just say create. Um, because this is, I mean, this comes up every day almost. People wanting to, let's say, grow out of the HubSpot quoting like capabilities in terms of making a proposal look nice, right? But then not having to do so much work to load it.
Yeah.
Um, so uh, yeah, this one looks all right. So do insert here, and we'll just save to drive,
Yep.
and already there because we're like in drive. That's cool.
Mhm.
Um, all right. Well, anything
The
else you want to highlight
I
over
think the
here?
thing which we have been clever enough to deal with your opportunity names in the table, but not in the template. So, so if you copy maybe opportunity name and replace it with deal name, just so do you see how the tag in this page is called deal name? I reckon that is going to have to be opportunity name. And so what you can do is on the right hand side, there's the source table, we call it, and there's a little search icon in there, which you could click on and just type in opportunity name, or is it in there? Oh, it is deal name here. Oh, so you've left it as deal name. You've called it opportunity, but it's called deal name.
Well, I only changed just
Okay, that's
the
cool.
name of the
Let's see.
object.
Let's see what
So
happens. I'm interested.
I'm learning that. I guess this means I might have to change all the names of the properties that have deal in them, which would not be cool. Uh,
Yeah,
but
I
that's
don't
why
know.
we're here
Let's run
to
it.
learn.
Let's run it and find out.
Uh, all right. So we'll go back to our workflow.
Yeah.
Um,
Would you want to see how this works in HubSpot now,
yes.
or do you want to? Yeah.
Um,
Let's open up an opportunity and we can customize it. We can go through a little bit of with. We can discuss on the app card stuff, which I think is interesting because app cards is it's incredible product that they've or function feature set that they've released for app partners. Um, I'm really looking forward to when they make app cards the default rather than CRM cards. Because if you see on the right hand side, the CRM card is automatically added in that right hand panel. It'll be at the bottom, but they don't default add the app card yet. These are all CRM cards here.
right.
You need to customize the record to see this is the bit which is hidden. It's like you put in all this effort to make a nice app card. It'd be nice if they added it automatically to the deal view.
Okay. Yeah, they've been working hard on the
Hmm.
CRM card like situation and organization and for a while I've done some feedback. Like they were playing around with this marketplace looking like library for a while, and then they one of the few betas that they didn't move forward with. Um,
Hmm.
but I know they're actively trying to solve for this piece. Meanwhile, we've seen some customer record redesigns for going to two panel mode and multiple tabs, and
Yeah.
uh, it's it's a challenge for sure. So this brought me to our app cards. For your app, we're in connected apps now, and I
Yeah.
was on a deal or an opportunity. So I'm gonna do all documents here. Brings us to opportunities, record customization, and we'll add card. Click on apps, but also see it here, and we'll add port in all documents. And
And you
we'll
always want to
bring it
click that
top
create card button when you're doing this. Every time you
every
want to
time.
click that
Yeah,
create.
I'm actually uh, starting to grow out of that habit. Learn my lesson enough times.
Yeah.
And we'll go ahead and change our default side view here too. So not everybody on the team has to drag it up. And all right. So now we'll go back to here and refresh. And back to overview. And let's generate.
Let's do it.
We'll run copy of HubSpot sales proposal. All right, so this is a template preview. We're confirming. Select associated objects for this automation, and it gives me a preview of what those will be. So I'm clicking here, it unchecks, and we'll start automation.
So in this process, normally takes about 12 seconds. And what we're doing is sending the details that are required for this template to Portant. Portant's duplicating the template and then inserting those fields into that duplicated copy and then sending back the links into HubSpot. So it will exist in a few different places: custom properties, activity feed, and also the attachments and the app card that we added as well. So that's how that process works. And this is one of the ways that you can generate it. So I think for this version, proposals, you might get it like there might be use cases where you do it automatically. So from workflows, you could use a Portant action as part of one of your workflows to generate a document. Yeah, it's
Okay.
the curse of the live demo. It's definitely longer than 10 seconds there, but
Yeah, I'm sure it's done. Like I never trust
yeah.
HubSpot anymore.
Yeah.
Like I usually just refresh the page.
Yeah.
So we'll do that and hope for the best here.
Sounds good.
And expect something here if it was successful, and there it is. Automation created.
Yeah. So this is your placeholder information. And then you can, if you go back into Portant, you can also see that it's replicated here as well. So if you go into the outputs, it's got a little green or notification, and refresh this page. You'll also see the automation start to come on there as well. So I've got your one sitting as pending on our side.
Okay.
I,
And that's what, so this pending means it's in the process. It's still being synced, or what is that?
is if I went into the details, it's like there's a few different machines that run Portant in the background,
Yeah.
and you just got unfortunate with the machine that you that was processing your one. Somebody else came in before you and is processing 122 documents. So
Nice.
that will get kicked out to a different machine soon, and then you'll have your automation.
This is the first time I've seen, like, I've talked about this product update in terms of making it easier for apps to, like, create enablement in this space. This is the first time I've seen it utilized. So well done
Uh,
here.
Thanks.
Um,
It's definitely like Qualify is probably some of the guys who do it the best. They really have led the way there. I don't know if you've seen their side, their feature set, but it is cool. You can even manage payment via this page. We haven't quite gone that far yet.
okay, you can manage payment.
Like, as in, like the payment for the app for the pro.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
so
do it
you can do
all via this.
everything from HubSpot.
Yeah, yeah,
That's very cool. Got to make it easy for people to stay up to date on
totally,
payments and upgrade when they're ready.
100%.
Because if they're loving it, they're probably in HubSpot while they're loving it, and that's where we need the upgrade button to be. Uh,
So if you refresh your page now, it'll have generated.
there we go. So we've got sales proposal.
And
And I
it's
see
put in
the,
the information there.
yep. We got all the tokens filling. Yep, the header updated here. Got our product table. That's very cool. Like, I mean, this is where, for me, I try to help, people understand that, like, once you have tools like this in play, 95% of the work I do is helping with the data model itself. Because you get that right, you make sure the data is where it needs to be. Now you can leverage tools like this to get to the outcomes that you want, right? Instead of starting with, hey, here's my super complex, Word doc that we use. Like build that into HubSpot. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, no, not doing that. Like let's use native HubSpot. Because now, like, the beauty of this is since there's not a lot of like custom dev that's not using the HubSpot tools, you can work and grow and, add value right alongside all of the HubSpot developments, alongside the other apps, continuing to develop stuff. And it just creates this maintainable system. Like, the worst part is when I always have to go outside of HubSpot or whatever windows that do pop up. I can't really see like anything,
Hmm.
and it's just not a great user experience and clearly not designed for, HubSpot specifically. Um, so really, uh, really cool to see this, man. Anything like we don't want to, stop recording without mentioning this thing.
So we basically just did a really simple workflow here where it generates a document. But if you go back into the HubSpot, into the Portant workflow and go, yeah, you can see that it's the outputs there. So there's different options to add inside this workflow. So if you just click the plus button, not at the end, but before that email, um, you can see that there is Microsoft Word and PowerPoint coming very soon as templates, which is kind of cool. But you can do reviews. So it's exactly like you were saying, Chris. It's like they've got a convoluted Word doc, and maybe you can't automate everything, but you can automate 95% of it. And you just need a review step to get that last 5% done. You can do that. You can request signatures via Portent as well, and share it in different ways. So sharing these documents via Gmail or Outlook. So, and I don't know, as complicated as you want to go, like there's the webhook at the end as well. So like
Right.
it's completely customizable at the end.
Yep. Um, and then I noticed in some spots we've got maybe it was there was like a there we go.
AI field.
AI
Oh yeah,
content,
yeah, yeah,
executive summary, GPT. So all
yeah.
the things, folks, everything's converging on each other, and we appreciate, uh, teams like Portent that kind of embrace that instead of, try to suggest that we've got to go use all their own stuff and proprietary this, proprietary that. Like we're just moving away, from that. We're seeing HubSpot do the same thing
Hmm.
with bringing the apps in and like just making everything accessible, knowing that people are going to show up, from their like the tools that they like the best and they trust the most. So it's very cool to see. I know I've mentioned it before, but like model context protocol, like and the ability to standardize a lot of the infrastructure that has never been standardized, before is really exciting to think about in terms of solving some of these really long-standing business use cases that have been challenging for organizations. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
so, so good to see this connectivity and uh, this ability to create documents in HubSpot. I know I will be a customer very soon. I hope. And thank you, Scott,
Thanks,
for
Scott.
joining us. It is pretty
Appreciate it.
cool. And we appreciate you coming by today, James.
No, this has been great. I think for anyone that's watching, please reach out to me if you want to. You can, Scott. Yes, you can upload any of your business templates. But yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or my email. More than happy to jam on any of these kind of document automation problems and find a solution, even if it's not important.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate partners like that the most, and it's been fun. And thank you so much for coming by today.
No, thank you so much. It's been fun too. Have a
All
good one.
right. Well, I'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, man.